Guys, so starting off, I am applying liquid latex to my face using a Q-tip, and then I'm going to be layering it with toilet paper pieces that I've like pre-sliced ahead of time, just like thin little sheets, like 1 ply, and then I just go over top of it with more latex on the Q-tip, and I'm just making a general like smile shape for my mouth, around my mouth and above my lip. So I'm just really like thickly applying the latex to the toilet paper. And then I just outline the basic shape and finish the rest off camera. Pretty basic stuff. So now I'm just doing the eye shape, which is the same thing, except the only difference is I take a piece of scotch tape and just go over my eyebrow where I'm going to be applying the liquid latex, because you do not want that on your eyebrow or it will rip the hairs out. So again, just layering the toilet paper, going over top of it with more latex. So it's latex on both sides to really like harden it up. And then just going over my eyebrow where the scotch tape is. And then once this dries on your eyes, you can kind of go and trim the scotch tape, the extra pieces that are hanging out, because it will be hard to get the face paint on top of that. So just more layering on my eyes. And just a kind of triangle shape for the black area around the eye. So just keep layering that up. So now I fill in the mouth and eyes with black face paint. These are Snazaroo brand face paints. And the smaller ones that I use are like from a Wolf palette of face paint. So I'm just doing that. And then you want to go over top of it with a black eyeshadow to add some powder to it to give it some staying power. So now I'm just using the green Wolf face paint and just painting all the areas left of my skin on my face, and then just going over top of the dried toilet paper with that as well. And then these brushes I'm using are just like round, circular, somewhat fluffy brushes, but once you get them wet, they're not so fluffy anymore. So next thing I'm doing is taking a purple eyeshadow on another fluffy eyeshadow brush, like a blending brush. So the color purple doesn't really show up that well on camera, but in person it's more of like a grape color, I would say. It's a lot brighter in person than it showed up on the camera. It kind of showed up gray. But yeah, you're kind of using like a grape purple color and just blending out all around where the toilet paper latex stuff is. Now I'm just doing some small detail work with the same black face paint and a smaller brush. Just adding some like pointed lines to the mouth and eyes, and just dragging that down over top of the toilet paper latex stuff. So my inspiration for this was just like a picture of Oogie Boogie Man from Nightmare Before Christmas, but I was having a hard time making it really look like him, so I kind of just went my own way with this. Hopefully this is still a useful tutorial for somebody. Yeah, so now I'm still doing the eyes, just adding some points to it. Now the next thing I'm doing is just drawing in some brows. So I ended up filling this in really heavy, and then towards the end I was like, oh no, this isn't good. Like it spread too much towards the middle where it started to look like unibrowish. So I ended up covering a lot of it up and just leaving the top like arch. Kind of like a step. I just used face paint and black eyeshadow and smudged it out. But the part that's in like the middle of my forehead I ended up covering up. So now I'm just doing some like fake stitches with the black face paint. Just on the areas of my face where I found there wasn't really anything going on. So just basic like stitch one line and some lines going through and some X's and stuff like that. Just to kind of fill the rest of my face. Now I'm taking white face paint and I'm doing stitches on the mouth. And because you're going over top of the black, I found these needed a few coats of the paint. Especially, yeah, around my lips to kind of cover it. And this is a Snazaroo face paint as well. So after this I go over each line a few times just to make it like as white as possible.
So next thing I'm doing is just doing some highlights to a lot of the areas of my face just by drawing like white lines. Just small detail work to kind of make it look busier than it was. And then each area that I did here, I again go over it with the pink face paint later and go underneath it. Or above it, sorry. Just to add a little bit more color. And this was another one where the color didn't really show up. I find this pink was more vibrant in real life than it showed up on camera. I'm using a GoPro and for some reason I find some of the colors don't show well. Yeah, so just going all along the mouth with that pink face paint too. And underneath the eyes, so this is just over where the toilet paper is. Doing some more lines. So next thing I'm doing is just, oh yeah, what I was talking about earlier where I canceled out some of that unibrow looking stuff, so I just went over with the same green face paint. Because I wasn't liking the way that looked. Now I'm just touching up some of those black lines again and making them a little bit more exaggerated. And now I'm doing some white stitches with the white face paint, just some messy. And again, you probably need more than one coat just because you're going over so many layers of face paint. So now I've added in my white mesh contacts from camoeyes.com. I'll put their website in the description. And just adding some fake blood around the eyes and the mouth. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoy and thanks for watching.